What is going on, guys? theblazesamurai here, and this is building the end on grade 2s, part 2. I think Thursday or Friday, I did a video on all the grade 2s right here that I don't play. And now today, I'm doing a video on all the grade 2s that I do play. These 4 right here. And I think I made this video and my other grade 2 video on the same day. So, and I think I'm going to be uploading this video Monday or Tuesday after I get back from regionals, so definitely check out my tournament report on what deck I played and stuff. Hopefully I got first place. Just saying, my goal is to get first place, but yeah. Grade 2s. So, there's only 4 different grade 2s I play, so this video is hopefully pretty short, but I'm going to go somewhat in depth with them. And let's start with the most basic grade 2 there is, the 10K Vanilla. 10K beater, there's one for every clan, and Nahalem, I really like him in the end, because what I figured out is the end is, I like to play it as a deck that is mostly about raw power. I mean, it's not really the effects, honestly, it's just the raw power of the deck and the ability to make a full field that hits a lot of numbers for a lot of different things. So, what does the 10K Vanillas do? They help you get raw power and hit magic numbers. Him boosted by an 8K, which you play 4 of, hits Crossrise. Him boosted by a 6K, hits any 11K Vanguard. And that, the ability to make your opponent guard more on rear guards is really crucial, since I like to play attack the rear guards. That's how I like to play this game, just attack the rear guards. So, is good, but I would not play 5 or more, because that is too many, and I don't really feel that, I don't really like playing those kind of decks. So, it's really either Garp or Nahalem, but I don't like Garp's artwork, so yeah. Nahalem is great. Granna Vanguard, great on rear guard. Next card is Burning Horn Dragon. I play 4. This card is 12K grade 2 when you have an Overlord Vanguard, and since you play 8 Overlords, you will always have an Overlord Vanguard. Unless you misride, then the game is irrelevant. But you will always have an Overlord Vanguard, so this card will always be a 12K attacker. Boosted by bar, 20K, hits any rear guard that's worth hitting. And it's really good to force your opponent to guard 15K on a rear guard. So that's why he's good. He helps also if you don't have a booster, he hits MLB. He doesn't hit Crossrider, but he does hit MLB by himself. That's also something to consider. And him even boosted by like a Kinara, that's still 18K. That's still enough to hit Crossrides right there, which is awesome. Now, riding him as a grade 2 is pretty bad, honestly. It's the worst thing. It's like one of the really bad things to ride. But he is worth it. And that's basically all to say. Like, I think pretty much every the end deck plays 4 Burning Horns. Not much to say, just raw power, hits good numbers, is good card. Period. Next is Bellicosity Dragon. This card and Nahalem are probably the only grade 2s you want to ride on like that turn. And I only play 2 Bellicosities because in this deck I don't play any Guard Griffins or Berserk Dragons, so I don't need to unflip damage that much. I know that I used to play Guard Griffins and Berserk Dragons. But if you are playing a deck with quite a few Guard Griffins and Berserk Dragons, you should play maybe 3 of these. But the problem with that is playing Berserk Dragon and Bellicosity is too many 9Ks. And like I said before in this video, I like to play the end as a deck of raw power, and 9Ks is not raw power. So yeah. His effect to unflip damage is pretty good. I use his effect maybe once every 3 games, because I only play 2. He's really great if you ride it, because that's almost a guaranteed unflip damage for Conroe, unless they guard, which is also good, because guarding early game makes your opponent have less cards in hand. But the main thing I like about him is his all damage on flippers. I don't really like particularly because it has to hit the Vanguard, and other effects like Counterblast 2 draw card when it hits the Vanguard, or other effects like when it hits the Vanguard search top 5 for a certain card. Those effects are good because their condition to hit the Vanguard is the same, but those effects are better and more threatening, so it forces your opponent to guard more. But honestly, when you're being attacked by a damage on flipper, 9 times out of 10, that unflip damage won't do much, honestly, and yeah, at least in the end. So that's why I only play 2 Bellicosities. I might even take him out, honestly, it's just not sure, but he's definitely the weakest grade 2 there is. Now, last card talk about for a few minutes is High Speed Brockie. He's not a Kagero card, but Brockie is one of those cards that can be splashed in legitimately every single deck of Vanguard out there. And I chose to splash him in Kageros because his ability is amazing. And just, again, the end, I like to play as a deck of raw power, and Brockie is like the definition of raw power. If you don't know what he does, when he attacks, you Soul Blast 1, and this gains 5,000, so it becomes 14,000 by himself, which is the highest thing ever for grade 2s. And he goes back to the deck. Going back to the deck is good and bad, but let's talk about his plus 5,000. So he becomes 14. That is enough to hit any cross ride, which is good against the mirror match and good against Shadow Paladins, and will be good in the future with other cross rides. Him hitting 14 is amazing. Like I said, against the mirror match, and whenever you're playing the end and you go to like a big event, you're gonna play the mirror match because the end is the end. That like nothing to it. Him boosted by a bar, 14 boosted by a bar. That's 22. That hits MLB amazingly. Like whenever you have to guard 15k on a rear guard attack, you know that you're doing something wrong. You're doing something right, and it's just amazing. So this card helps against the mirror match at the end and MLB, which is the top most things you're gonna play against, which is amazing. But Kageros, they don't really have any way to soul charge anything, so that's why you don't play that many. Like I only play 2 because you're only gonna soul blast the grade 1 you rode, the grade 2 you rode, and that's it. You never wanna Soul Blast your regular Overlord, unless you do Kimnara, which is conditional, very conditional. But yeah, then he goes back to the deck so you can reuse him, and he pops up a lot actually. But the way I use him is, when you ride him, it's really bad, honestly. He does nothing on the Vanguard, but I only use him on 2 situations. One, during late game, when I want to push for game, or just very late game, or whenever my opponent has about 4 or less cards in hand, exactly 4 or less cards in hand, and I have this and let's say the end Vanguard, and he push, and this guy, either your opponent's got a no guard and take damage, or guard for 15. For 15. So that is amazing to get rid of cards in the hand. Extra cards in the hand is always good. And yeah, that's nothing much to say. It's just his raw power is better, and he's just a better thing. Like I'd rather play a 14k grade 2 than retire 1, because honestly, if this attacks the rear guard, the rear guard's gonna die. So they both do the exact same thing as Berserk Dragon. So yeah. But one thing to consider is with the end, he's always gonna be a Vanguard, and hopefully, in his first line, not many people pay attention to it, but it says if you have a non-Kagero Vanguard or rear guard, this unit gets minus 2,000. This is non-Kagero, so when this card's on the field, this card is either 9k, which is really bad, or 11k, which is okay. But so that being said, you have to play Brockie very like linear. Like there's only one way to play it. Is you call it either during very late game or when they have 4 or less cards in hand during mid game. Brockie has to attack before the Vanguard. It just has to, and you have to use his effect. The turn you play him. That's so keep that in mind, because then when he leaves the field, your Vanguard becomes back to what his regular base power is. So yeah, Brockie hits MLB pretty good, beats Mirror Match, and Mirror Match is like we're gonna be playing all day, and again hits big numbers. So that was grade 2s on the end. By the way, I only play 2 Brockies because, like I said, you only have 2 soul to use basically. So that is building the end grade 2s. Hope you guys all enjoy. Eventually I'll do the triggers. There's nothing much to say about triggers, but I'll do a video eventually. Definitely check out my previous building the ends. I'll have links and annotations to those. Definitely check out those videos. Hopefully these videos will help you learn something. And check out my Facebook page. It's honestly takes 2 seconds to like a Facebook page, and that'll make me really, really happy. So yeah, Blaze Samurai, like, comment, subscribe. Peace out, YouTube.